Welcome to Pouring Takes. I'm Charlie Van.
And I am Rayya. Be sure to find all of our channels at our website, pouringtakes.com. You'll be able to subscribe to our YouTube, our Spotify, our Apple Podcast, as well as all of our socials all in one place. Because, Charlie, we are now everywhere.
We are everywhere.
Speaking of being everywhere, where are we today?
We are back at Bryan Street Tavern right here in Dallas, and it is Texas Tuesday, or, well, half-off Texas drafts, which we are having here tonight.
We just celebrated Texas Independence Day.
We did.
On Saturday.
We did. Happy Texas Independence Day.
Remember the Alamo. Whatever.
Remember the Alamo. Remember our Texas teams here. So here we are.
So Texas drafts, and we are both drinking
Blood and Honey Revolver out of Granbury, Texas. Actually, this was always one of my big go-to. Still love it. Still a big fan of it.
Me too. Definitely. I think I had my first Revolver, I want to say in like, my first Blood and Honey back in like 2015. I was at like 54th Street Draft House out in like Las Colinas.
It's a pretty descriptive memory.
Well, because it was like a work dinner.
Oh.
And somebody was like, if you like Texas beers, you should really try this one. It has a higher alcohol percentage, and I think you'll really like it. And then I drank like 4 of them.
Ooh, there you go. Well, it is the lucky number 7%, but it does drink lighter than
Lucky
that.
number
And it's very
7.
Oh, there you go. See, you knew you were gonna have a 7% beer tonight.
Yes,
so
you know what? Angel numbers say so.
Yes. Well, it is very very tasty, very easy to drink. But also, I will say, too, with Happy Texas Tuesday as well here. So what kind of shots are we going to partake here in a second?
Well, so we didn't really have shot takes. I mean, we had like our Love is Blind takes, which, by the way, I was technically right. Like, I totally knew they were going to get the cast together and all of that stuff, and we'll get into it later.
I was right as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, it was very easy, very predictable. I think the next batch of episodes, the finale, that we'll have all the shot takes on. But for now, Texas staple, Tito's vodka in these lemon drop shots. As you can see, sugar on the rim.
Very sweet.
In honor of Sugar Sean O'Malley fighting on Saturday.
I like that segue. Now you have to drink.
And of course, you know, lemon drop is vodka, lemon juice, simple syrup.
I think so. I could be, for you out there that know shots, let us know that, but it does sound right.
Yeah, you can troll me on Discord or Twitter or Instagram, whatever.
Or TikTok.
TikTok. Our TikTok is doing really well.
It is doing well. It is, and people have had opinions. I've been watching.
Yeah, if one more gross, creepy guy calls me sweetheart in the comments, I might lose it.
Oh no, I haven't had that yet.
Are you jealous?
I'm over here on my own island.
All right, to being a sweetheart.
There you go. That is sweet, but it's nice. It's not overbearing. It's kind of in
Goes
that.
down easy.
It's like green tea. Yes, go down.
Why
easy.
do I always do that? Sorry.
You have to drink. There you go. Oh, you're mine.
I'm sorry, Mom and Dad.
No, but very nice, very tasty.
Yeah, very good. So today we're going to get into UFC 299. We'll talk about the Stars making that big trade ahead of the trade deadline, which is on Thursday. We'll talk about if they make another move or not, all things there. We'll talk about the Mavs' recent slump, and I don't know if we should really call it a slump because they've only lost 2 in a row, but it has definitely been dicey these last 10 games.
A little concerning.
And then we'll round out with our Love is Blind recap, predictions, and all the tea and all the shade. Sound good?
All right. Well, since we got sirens going, let's hit the alarm on this.
All right. UFC 299 taking place in the beautiful South Beach, Miami, Florida. Forgot the name of the arena, but it's where the Heat play. They changed the name recently.
Oh, it's not American Airlines anymore.
A long time ago.
Oh, shoot. Well, that shows you. I'm not taking my talents to South Beach.
Are you still in 2011, my friend?
I am. That was a glorious year for us, Mavericks fans.
Yes, you're not wrong. So we were talking about this earlier before we started recording. This is probably one of the more stacked pay-per-view cards that we've had in a very long time. And knock on wood, well, this is wood. Knock on wood, everybody makes it through fight camp and is healthy. Everybody makes weight, and we get a really great show. Because I think it's been a while since we've been able to look at a pay-per-view card from top to bottom and be like, you know, I could watch all these fights. Some of these prelim fights and even like early main card fights could be headliners for fight nights. Like, lots of great battles within all the divisions in the top 10. Super stoked about it. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick a couple of these fights, do a little bit of analysis, maybe keep score a little bit and see which one of us does better at picking these fights. I mean, you won the last battle at the pay-per-view. So
I did.
So I've got some making up to do. So we will see how this goes. So we'll start in the prelims. Big matchup in the lightweight division, aka 155 pounds. We have Mateusz Gamrot versus Rafael dos Anjos.
Yeah, I really like this matchup, especially from the grappling wrestling. Gamrot is very, very stylish wrestler, very strong grappler. We saw that with Beneil Dariush. RDA is no slouch in that department. A lot of submissions, very crafty. BJJ black belt, former UFC lightweight champion. Big reason why he won that over Anthony Pettis was because of that strong grappling ability. So, but he's got great hands too.
I was gonna say he just needs one hit and he can put you on the ground. And I respect the heck out of wrestlers. As somebody who has taken months of wrestling as an adult. It's probably my favorite thing in fighting, honestly. Even though I'm a stand-up fighter, I love all the nuances that come with wrestling, so I always pay closer attention to wrestlers. Do you view RDA as kind of a gatekeeper now? I mean, he is ranked 11th.
That is
Gamrot's ranked number 8.
That is a very fair comparison now. I would say a couple years ago, maybe not. But we did see that Fiziev fight a couple years ago. I mean, who, by the way, still a star on the rise despite the Gaethje loss. I mean, that guy can hit like a truck, too.
Oh, for sure.
But he is at that up and down, up and down. It probably started with Colby Covington at 170, too, in that loss for that interim welterweight title. He can win some fights, but is he going to put a streak together against some of these guys that are coming up? They're, I like to say, hitting that first momentum wave to get to a title. I'm not sure. Never can count him out, but I don't think it's an unfair assessment.
I feel like the lightweight division is like low-key on the rise. Like there's a lot of like sneaky good fighters. I know we have Dustin Poirier and Benoit Saint-Denis later, but there's like a lot of potential in that division. So I have a hard time believing that RDA can make another run in the 11th spot.
I mean, anything can happen. I mean, Glover Teixeira was able to do it, but it's not going to be easy, especially because the style of fights now, when you look at the division now, used to, I remember way back 155 when it was reintroduced, you had Sean Shirk mauling over everybody, strong wrestler, but then you had Kenny, who was great Muay Thai. You had a lot more brawlers, strikers with some wrestling. Now they're just well-rounded. Yeah. And so when RDA first came about, he was one of those guys that was just really that strong wrestler grappler that developed that power. But yeah, when you look at Gamrot, I mean, it's an equal mirror image. I would say if I had to make a pick here, though, I think Gamrot is going to come out. I just think he is a little bit more well-rounded in that, and I just think his wrestling is going to be hard to deal with.
Yeah, I'm with you. I always side with the wrestlers. I feel like they have unstoppable cardio. They can run circles around you, and they can move away from being hit hard. I don't want to say that RDA, to me, his career is done because I respect him too much for that. But I just feel we have these new wave of fighters. Also, mosquitoes everywhere. Yes, they're bugging me, Charlie.
They are bugging. Oh, you drank. You said it before I did. See? I think my puns are rubbing off on you now.
A little bit.
Which is great.
You know, when you're best friends with somebody, you pick up their habits.
That's true.
Which habit would you want from me?
Your head kick. No, your forwardness. Your boldness. You're fearless.
Okay.
She's the more. I said that before though. You're more the risk taker.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Well, that's a really elite compliment. Thank you.
Well, hey, it's the yin yang effect. What I do want to compliment though RDA on just real quick. I mean, you're right, but this is also a guy that can be that humbling experience too.
Not the word I thought you were going to say.
Oh, what were you thinking I was going to say?
The way you drew out the hum.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was going to end with a P. And I was like, where is he going with this?
Oh.
It's not Wednesday.
It's not Wednesday. Yeah. No, but I mean, he's that guy that, is always in the mix, but he can be that where you think a guy's on the rise and you got to get through that test, but I think Gamrot's going to do it.
Yeah, I'm going to roll with you with Gamrot. So let's
Ooh, there was a grappling pun.
God, today is just my day for the puns.
I'll take one, too.
All right, moving on. Let's go to the women's flyweight division. Former champion Caitlin Chikugan, now Sarah Minara.
Former contender. She didn't win the belt.
She didn't win the belt. Sorry, former contender Caitlin Chikugan, now married last name Serminara, which
We think that's what we just said.
I just noticed the update yesterday, so I'm really sorry if I totally butchered that. Versus
Macy
Barber, the future.
Who we followed since she was in her early days here in LFA, like when she was only 2, 3. I mean, we've talked about her before, how she was this young prodigy phenom on the rise, and now I feel like she is coming in that more mature stage in her fight game.
Yeah, I think that injury really leveled her up. Like, you hear it all the time. Like when you're sidelined with an injury for a long time, you have a lot of time to think and process and be like, well, I could have done this different. I can change my training regimen this way and that way. I mean, that's essentially what I did when I was out with knee injury. I sat at home for 6 months and was like, maybe I should learn to fight left-handed. And so I did when I got back. And this is a really interesting matchup. Caitlin's 4, Macy's 6. Lots of moving and shaking in the flyweight division. Champ Alexa Grasso. Valentina had that belt for a very long time. You have up-and-comers in that division. What's it, the girl from France?
You have, you have
Erin Blanchfield.
You have Blanchfield and you have
Mario Firo.
Finoy.
Finoy.
Yeah,
and
who's got a fight coming up.
Yeah, and she's actually headlining a fight night.
Yeah.
Yeah, girl power.
So.
Actually, there are 2 fight nights back-to-back where there's women fights as the headline.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
Hey, happy International Women's Month.
There we go. Cheers. Cheers right there.
It's my month.
That's great. I mean, and I think the flyweight division right now is exciting. We're gonna wait to see what happens. You know, will Valentina get another shot right away? I mean, both those fights were. I mean, well, the first fight obviously Grasso, but it was a lot of Valentina. The second one very close.
Yeah.
So, but it doesn't hurt to have some of these new contenders.
No, I'm really excited about the new blood in the division in that, the top 5 range. I really would love to see Macy Barber take this one. Her fight name is The Future. Show me. Because Caitlin, what's her fight name? Isn't it like Barbie or the Blonde Fighter?
The Blonde Fighter, yeah. That didn't change.
Yeah, thank God. But I would love to see her surpass Caitlin because Caitlin has been such a staple in that division for so long. And like you said, she's had opportunities to win the belt and hasn't quite been able to convert. I mean, hey, I don't think I could beat Valentina in a fight either. But I do want to see Macy succeed, selfishly.
Well, and like you said, the future, and it's somebody that's newer in that. Like I said, we've been on the rise where she was tearing through everybody up until she got to Roxanne Modafferi, highly veteran, right? And that was a humbling experience there. And obviously she had the knee injury too. That didn't help, but still. But now she's on that path where like, okay, I really do believe she can be a contender. This is that fight. And I think it's a fight where it really I think even a close fight won't help her. Like I think she needs to come out and make a statement because you can't. We know both of us. Like when you're going against Valentina or even Grasso, those are finishers. You can't have these close fights.
And the thing is I think this is going to be mostly stand up.
Yeah.
Neither one of these girls are known for getting on the ground.
Caitlin does have a good ground game though because she is a Matt Serra. Under Matt Serra.
She's a kickboxer.
No, she kind of reminds me of Holly Holm at 125.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Why do you read my mind like that?
Well, and this is where I think if I had to put a favor, I have to put a favor with Caitlin when it comes to the strike. And Macy's a very forward and pass. It's not bad, but I do think Caitlin's so long and rangy too, and just IQ in there.
I agree. Macy's going to have to get inside and make it interesting and mix it up. But we have seen the shorter fighter prevail. Macy's also the younger fighter, so I'm rolling with Macy Barber.
All right. Well, I'm going Caitlin.
All right, we finally disagree.
I was going to come up with something else on there that I was going to say, not because of the pick, but it didn't come out. I don't know what I was trying to
I don't know what you're saying, so drink.
All right.
All right, moving on. Let's go to the heavyweight division. This is my least favorite division in fighting, by the way. Like, I feel like every time I watch a heavyweight fight, it's oversized toddlers who are drunk punching each other.
I don't know. Tom Aspinall looks really good, though, real quick.
I would say the Aspinall-Pavlovich fight was very athletic
and I was
very
scared during that.
Like, it's non-stereotypical for heavyweight fighters, but I love you, DC. You are one of my favorite humans in the world. But watching you throw punches sometimes, I was like, sir, you look like a drunk oversized.
But he was one of the best, heavyweights to do it. I mean,
I would say Stipe is also the best heavyweight fighter.
Technically.
Very technical. He never looked like a big, oversized drunk baby fighting.
No, he never fought like a heavyweight. He moved more like a 205 or 185. But
and John Jones at heavyweight is the same way.
Yeah.
So yes, I have my reservations about the heavyweight division. I do not like watching heavyweight fights. I probably blame Derek Lewis for that.
Sorry, heavyweights.
My balls was hot. Anyway, so we got Curtis Blades and Jailton Almeida.
Yeah. And they were supposed to fight before. And so, Curtis Blades was a wrestler turned striker, also knockouts. I mean, he's been on the end of some, you mentioned Derek Lewis, Francis Ngannou, but I mean, this guy puts away. His nickname's Razor Blades. I mean, he developed into that from just this wrestler. I believe junior college, he might have wrestled for 4 years, but really good wrestler. However, Almeida is one of those black belts that comes in and he just puts people away too, and you go into the ground's a gambler.
So my question to you, Curtis Blades, ranked number 5 in the division.
Yeah.
Almeida, ranked number 7 in the division. We've seen Curtis Blades against the cream of the crop. I believe we've seen him against Derek Lewis.
Saw Derek. He lost to Derek. He got knocked out. He's lost twice to Francis Ngannou.
And did he fight Cyril Gane as well?
I think he did. Let me look. Let me just check. I want to be right.
Yeah,
I want to be right on this.
So the thing is my argument here is we've already seen Curtis against the cream of the crop in this division. And I'm going to go the same way I kind of went with Macy Barber. It's the new blood, the new faces. I want somebody to, I want someone's career to take off on Saturday night.
He didn't go against Cyril. I think they jolted at each other.
Jawed at each other?
Jolted.
Drink.
So he did beat Tom Aspinall, but Aspinall did tear his ACL in that fight.
Okay. Good to
And that was his last win, but he did last win, but then he did get finished by Sergey. So, but Sergey's like one of those guys who's kind of...
Sergey's also, I would say, like an incredible fighter. I enjoy watching Sergey fight, but for me, I want to see Almeida climb that ladder. And I know I sound like the girl that keeps picking the underdogs, but Curtis Blades has been around for quite some time. If he was meant to be a top 3 fighter at the heavyweight division, it would have already happened by now.
I mean, but the heavyweight is one of those, it just takes one, and that's what's crazy about it for me. Yes, you say the bar drum, but it doesn't take much, and that guy has the wrestling and the knockout, and that's one thing I'm not sure that Almeida as long as it stays on the feet. Now, going to the ground, as long as...
Almeida's got him.
Possibly, like that top pressure. I'm gonna go Curtis Blades, and I'm gonna go Curtis Blades by TKO.
Wow.
By second round.
To me, I feel like heavyweights, either it's like a first round knockout or it goes to decision where both guys are bent over huffing and puffing and again complaining that their balls was hot.
But I mean, right now though, I think it's such a good mix though. I mean, if Almeida wins, I think it is good. It's someone new. But if Curtis, there's a resurgence because Francis isn't there and Derek's not in the mix right there.
Yeah.
So that's and he's always, when he thought about like John Jones, like in the mix, when you think those wrestlers that develop, I'm interested to see.
Yeah, like I said, I've been begging the MMA gods for a star. Mm-hmm. I want someone that just has that moment in the octagon that goes viral, that everyone catches on and is like, I want to be a fan of that guy. I'm going to watch that guy. I'm going to watch more fights.
Yeah.
We need that in the UFC. And this card, top to bottom, has the potential to really launch someone's career. I know I went on a tangent.
It's a star making, and it's a lot of must-win scenarios. Yeah. I think for Curtis, this is a must-win.
I agree.
Same with, even with Caitlin, going back to Caitlin, that's more of a must-win.
For her to stay in the mix for another title shot, for sure. Yeah. It's a really big deal if she beats Macy. I totally.
And we're about to get the main card, which there's a couple must-wins.
This main card is so tasty. It's a filet mignon cooked medium rare, served right off the grill. Oh, I just want to sink my teeth into it.
I'm sure you can find some Miami restaurants that can cook that up for you.
I wish I was going to Miami.
I know. I was looking at tickets and I was like,
this is the fight of the year.
Yeah.
Like, this card is
I really do think so.
All right, so the main card opens up with Peter Yang and Song Yadong in the bantamweight division. And for those of you at home who don't watch fighting, that's 135 pounds. So these guys are small but mighty. Mm-hmm. No offense.
Yes, no. They are small and mighty. You have Peter Yan, the former bantamweight champion, in a very must-win. He's on 3-fight losing streak. Now, with that being said, those losses are too
questionable.
Well, Aljamain, Sean O'Malley, Merab was not questionable. That was a pretty one-sided.
The Sean O'Malley one was questionable.
That was questionable, but regardless, 2 of those guys are champions or former champions. Another one is the next #1 contender, Merab, who had his way with them.
Yep.
But guess what? 2 of those were wrestlers, And Peter
You know
Yan
how I feel about wrestlers.
Peter Yan is a really good kickboxer. Sambo, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's got good wrestling and strong, but he's going up against a guy that's going to zombie right forward. I mean, Song Yadong is tough, but just go watch that Corey Sandhagen fight and how well-rounded Sandhagen. And I think, though, Peter Yan on the feet, this is his time to earn it back.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Song Yadong, and I'm gonna ride with Peter Yan.
Yeah, same here.
I feel like he's really gotten the shit end of the stick in his career with the UFC. I don't know if it's because he's Russian. I don't know if it's because they were trying so hard to launch Sean O'Malley because they needed a star, but like Peter Yan is a very technical fighter and he's very well-rounded. And yeah, I get it. He lost to Aljo and he lost to Merab Dvalishvili.
Yeah.
But I don't think he was really given a fair chance.
Well, I mean, I think the Merab fight, that's just not a fun fight for anybody. I mean, if you don't knock him down, I mean, he's the better wrestler. He is. I mean, that's the reason why he's there with Aljo. And you know, Aljo's a really good wrestler. Those are just not his style of fights. Think about the guys he beat. Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo's not a wrestler. He's a black belt, but he's standing brawling, and that's Yan Sambo. So... and then the Sean O'Malley, there's a whole thing if you want to look into that. I mean, the cut didn't help him. I thought it was more in his favor, but still he got cut. This is his time to I am back. I am no mercy, and I'm going to show no mercy. And I do feel like he's going to do that with Song Yadong.
Yep, and like we said about the lightweight division, there's a lot of great talent at bantamweight right now. Like that division is totally catching fire. Everybody's paying attention to what's going on, and I agree with you. This is the redemption game, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, for sure. And it'll be interesting to see. Song Yadong trains out of Ultimate Fitness with Uriah Faber and them. A great camp, great big wrestling
Ultimate
camp.
Fitness? Aren't they Team Alpha Male?
Or Team Alpha, but Ultimate Fitness is the gym.
Okay.
Yeah. And maybe they rebranded. The team is Team Alpha Male, but he does have that grappling pedigree. It'll be interesting to see if he decides if he wants to try to take it to the ground.
I feel like this card is going to be all stand-up, mostly knockouts. Hello, 50 G's from Dana White for Fight of the Night, and he's probably going to give out at least 3 or 4 of those bonuses. Shot take.
There you go. That's a shot take. We will see if Dana's feeling very generous.
Hey, yeah, how generous
He's
are
having
you,
a couple
Tina?
of cocktails on Miami, and
yeah, who knows? And he might drop by 11 later. You know, he's gonna have a great time.
You think Pitbull will be in the crowd and DJ Khaled?
You know,
Miami?
funny you mentioned Pitbull. Charlie, what is today's date?
March 5th.
Which is 3/5.
Oh.
It's 305 day. Hello, Pitbull, Mr. Worldwide.
All right, drink to that. Drink to that. I bet he's in the crowd. Definitely. Oh, Khaled, that would be funny.
I think they'll all be there. It'll be a lot of fun.
Who comes out to a Miami themed song? Like, I would come out to Into the Air Tonight, Miami Vice, Phil Collins, or one of my favorite versions is the non-point metal version is really good too. Underrated.
Well, I don't know these fighters well enough to know their music taste.
It wouldn't surprise me if Sean O'Malley doesn't come out to Into the Air Tonight.
Okay, we'll get to Sean. I'm not going to.
I know. I'm just saying. He's the only one that gets pop culture, like, fun walkouts.
I feel like, nah, he wouldn't. Never mind. All right. Next up, in the welterweight division, a.k.a. 170 pounds. So these are normal-looking men who dropped 20 pounds on weigh-in day to weigh 170 pounds.
So what you're saying, the 135s are normal-looking men?
No, I already said they're small and mighty. All right, I'm just gonna. I'll let you take this one.
All right, we got Gilbert Burns, the former welterweight contender, taking on Jack Della Maddalena, who has definitely been on the rise. One guy to watch, high stoppage rate, just well-rounded. And, you know, Gilbert's coming off that loss to Bilal Muhammad this past May, which he took on a short notice, I believe. So
it was 8 or 10 days.
Yeah, and that's Gilbert for you. He's game.
Gilbert's down to fight.
He's like, tomorrow, I'm going to fight you.
DTF, down to fight.
Yes, different meaning. Anyways, we're somewhat PG here. Gilbert Burns, though, one of those guys, I mean, you were talking, I don't consider him, and I'm saying this because we're saying it with RDA, because I feel like they could be considered in the same boat. I don't quite consider him gatekeeper because he does go on those streaks, and he's actually into, like, even Neil Magny, like, a lot of people's rises, and, I mean, he's always one punch away, and his grappling is second to none, too.
Yeah, I was going to say, he is one of the more well-rounded fighters out there. You know, being Brazilian, having that black belt in jiu-jitsu totally pays off and gives him an edge that not a lot of 170 fighters have. 170 is very striker heavy. I mean, you think of guys like I was going to say Stephen Thompson,
Well, yeah, Stephen Thompson.
karate guy.
Now Michael Venom Page coming in, which we're about to talk
I was
about.
going to say Jeff Neal.
Well, Jeff Neal, yeah.
Great on the feet. Neil Magny, great on the feet.
Michael Pereira is another one who's here
Leon.
later. Yeah, Leon Edwards, yeah.
You know,
And-
like it's these guys, you know, outside of like Usman, are
Who's also, though, his boxing, though.
has
yeah.
improved, but he was
Yeah.
a wrestler. He is a
started off.
wrestler.
But he did knock out Gilbert Burns, his old teammate. And
That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
His stand-up game has improved because 170 is a striker's division. So, for me, this fight's very interesting. So Gilbert Burns is ranked at number 4 still, so he's like that constant in the division. And then you got Jack Della Maddalena, who is ranked at number 11, who's the up-and-comer. I really think Jack is going to make some noise. And I know I keep picking the lower seed.
No, there's nothing wrong with that pick. I'm going to say Gilbert, but I'm going to say it's going to be 3 rounds.
Yeah, I see it going to division.
I'm not
decision.
surprised if Jack, because he is well-rounded, and he's way overdue, in my opinion. That don't let that number 11. He's been on everyone's radar for a long time. He has had some questionable decisions, but it doesn't matter. He comes to fight, and he's not going to go down.
Yeah, 170 is a very fun division as
Yeah.
well. I know I've said that like 3 times tonight, but there are certain divisions in the UFC that are just like a different level.
Well, especially even now post GSP, George St. Pierre, because that guy reigned for so long
Wait,
and
are you
hard.
talking about movie star Georges St. Pierre?
Yes, it depends on what movies you're pointing
Captain
out.
America too.
Okay, that one. But it's fun, and even now, and love Kamara, but even without Kamara at the top, like he made things exciting, but it's still exciting.
Yeah.
And it's almost like 155. It's just so back and forth.
Yeah, it's really.
And we got
exciting.
Shavkop in there. He's the boogeyman, Robin.
Oh,
Yeah.
I can't wait to see that man fight
Yeah.
again. Like I honestly, who was I talking to? And they were like, Jeff should have never fought that man.
I mean, here's the thing. Jeff is game to fight anybody, and he's
Love Jeff for that.
And here's the thing. He's
But it
the
was a
only
match
one
of
to
madness.
like throw the whole world at him. I mean, Wonder Boy couldn't even do that. You know, it's just that guy's a zombie mode. I know your favorite, Colby Covington is still.
He will be in the audience in Miami because it's Florida.
Oh
so
yeah, and he
will
trains
be
at
there.
MMA legend. So
The question is, will he be wearing a Make America Great hat or not?
I don't know what Colby Covington
I
is
think he
going to
will
wear.
be. It's an election year.
Yeah.
Donald Trump is his bestie. Miami is his backyard. I think he's going to be like obscenely over the top patriot Colby Covington in that audience.
You know, I wouldn't mind him facing the winner of this fight of Gilbert and Jack.
That's not a bad
Especially
idea.
if Gilbert, because you had Gilbert's coming from Sanford MMA Club. Those are rivals against MMA legends. Rivals. We went
That Texas beer is really getting
yeah,
you.
I'm becoming real Texas. I'll just be Matthew McConaughey. I
All
think
right,
he'll be
all
all
right, all right.
But yeah, I mean, he's going to be paying close attention. And
Yeah. So, sometimes when it comes to Colby Covington, I don't think he wants to be in the octagon anymore. After what happened with Leon, after what happened with Usman, he's just kind of a puppet. Like, he's just there for entertainment, just to talk some shit and rub people the wrong way and be this character. I feel like he's more WWE than UFC these days.
Well, now the WWE's with, TKO. However, I will say this. Can he win a lot of fights? Yes, you can, because his style is overwhelming. There's a lot of fights, and I'm sure he'll be watching some of these that are here on the main card. One in that co-main event of a guy that him and have been beefing back from American Top Team Day. So.
All right. Well, we'll see. But we're going to stay in the welterweight division.
Yep.
Our friend Kevin Holland, ranked number 13, against Michael Venom Page, who is making his UFC debut. He's coming from Bellator. This is a really big deal. This was a really big signing for the
Huge
UFC.
signing, long overdue.
And what a way to come in against a guy like Kevin Holland.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't know Michael Venom Page, go watch all of his Bellator highlights because they're all a highlight. He actually even
He's an absolute star.
Yeah, pre-COVID, he cracked a guy's skull with a flying knee and did a Pokemon, like he's a big Pokemon. He's a big showman. He comes out with the Thanos glove. Now they asked him, with how UFC, and Bellator, they let you be the showman. He's like, well, I'd rather ask for forgiveness than permission. He is flashy, and when it comes to striking, he's one of the best out there in the MMA game.
See, you say that, and it proves my point. The UFC needs a effing star. This could be your guy. You need someone who's a little bit of a showboater, someone who can really put the promotion on the map, someone who can relate to the audience. Okay, I know Pokemon isn't my thing, but a lot of you nerds love Pokemon.
He does have that nerdy. He does have that nerdy side.
I mean, it worked for Israel Adesanya.
I don't know that I want to like. Here's the thing. Like, I think Kevin Holland's the perfect opponent for him, and Kevin and Venom is the perfect opponent for Kellen, because Kevin's one of those guys that is out there and unorthodox. This is a wild fight. This is one of those fights.
Their walkouts are going to be fun.
It's going to be so fun, because we know Kevin. Kevin, since XKO days, he's the showman. This is a perfect dance party. He never really had an equal like that, you know, and I think they're going to have fun.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, Tanner, if you're getting yourself another beer, you can get us beers too.
Yeah.
And so how I would look at it,
Thank you.
how I would look at it too is like, this is going to be, I don't think this goes to the ground. Even though it goes to the ground, Kevin's your guy. He is. He is a Travis Lutter black belt. That is not something
He has worked really hard on his wrestling and his grinding.
Yeah, and he comes from
Didn't
a really good.
he go and visit Khabib?
Yeah. I mean, people, might not, Lutter was way back. Lutter was a high level wrestler. I mean, and black belt here in the area. So I'm excited, but if I had to give straight at Michael Venom, though, that's the guy you just don't want to play the striking game with. I mean, he's just so. I think this ends by stoppage.
UFC, a star will be born, and his name, Michael Venom Page.
He's already been a star. It's just
but
in the
it's
UFC.
a UFC star.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's great, and I love his personality. He seems like a super cool guy. He's funny, and he has that nerdy side. So we'll see what happens, but that's a fun one.
All right, we've arrived at our co-main event, and this one is sure to be a banger. And yeah, I'm gonna drink for that one.
There you go.
Go ahead, take it.
Take it. All right. In the co-main event, which could be a main event on any other cards, you have the former UFC lightweight interim champion and BMF belt holder, right? Oh, no, he's not. He lost it. No. But Dustin Poirier taking on Benoit Saint Denis, who, by the way,
Benoit
Saint Denis. Okay, there you go. She's teaching me.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, wait. Je parle français.
But here's the thing.
Très bien.
If you don't know him, this guy, I'll get to Dustin here in a real quick second. This guy, first of all, former Army Tactical Force. I mean, just when I was watching the countdown, I didn't know a whole lot other than his fights. I mean, badass. By the way, I think it was him and his wife. They're at the gun range. They look like Mr. and Mrs. Smith over here. But this guy's grappling and this guy's wrestling, and I mean, his last win, he won by head kick knockout in the first round, and half his wins by submission. I mean, this guy is, when I talk about that first wave momentum, what we just saw Ilia Topuria went on, this is this guy. And this guy's been avoidable.
You sound very excited for this Frenchman.
Well, I'm excited because if there's anyone you're going to have him test, Dustin Poirier is that guy. And this is a must-win for Dustin Poirier. He's coming off that head kick loss to Justin Gaethje back in July. At least he's had some time. But
he contemplated retiring after that fight.
Well, that's a dangerous head kick. And, he's had some losses. He's had those wins. What's dangerous about fighting a guy like this is he is looking to make a name. And we just saw that with Ilia. And we even seen it on the Sean O'Malley path. And one thing, I love Dustin, but one thing that concerns me, a lot of his losses, the grappling.
Yeah.
And this guy is a beast.
Yeah, Dustin Poirier is definitely the kind of guy that's going to stand and bang and try to hit you with the cross over the top or whatever it is, or break your leg like he did to Conor McGregor.
You never want to count out Dustin. He's super durable. He's a machine. He could take.
And there's a reason why he's been top 3 in this division for so long.
But is it a dangerous fight? Yes, it is.
Absolutely. And kudos to him for even taking this
Exactly.
fight. Because even though Benoit is rated number 12,
that shows how high
dangerous.
The UFC puts him.
Yeah.
Because the guy he's not a household name yet, but he puts people away. All of his last fights, all first, second, just submission, TKO, head kick, knockout.
All right. So my question to you is, if Dustin Poirier loses this fight, does he A, retire, or B, become the lightweight gatekeeper
I would like him to go back up to 170. I think he looks way better. I think he looks way better. I mean, if Diaz comes back, that's a fight I want to see. That's a fight that should have happened back in 2018.
Oh my God! Don't start talking about Nate Diaz. I cannot stand.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Again, Bryan Street Tavern.
What's your
we
name
are spoiled.
What's your name again?
Zach.
Everyone say hello to
Zach.
Zach. Thank you, Zach. You're awesome. Well, okay, here's what I was saying, the Nate. Like, those super fights, like those kind of fights, I won't even mind him and Kobe. Here's the reason why. They have beef. If Kobe's not going to be, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I could definitely see the UFC using Dustin as like a kind of super fight magnet.
Yeah.
Like, with all the injuries to the champs and the reshuffling of the main events moving forward, it wouldn't hurt for an international fight week matchup against Colby Covington. I would watch it.
Connor still probably wants that fight again. I mean, here's the thing.
Don't say that man's name in my presence.
It's how it ends. Like, if it ends. Now, Dustin, his boxing's really good as long as he keep it from the ground. I feel, even though I know he got the submission of Michael, Chandler, it's not the same as this guy. But, he always has the boxing. He has the veteran. It is 5 rounds. So the later it goes, I do favor Dustin. But if it does go bad for him, how does it go? If it's submission, no, he shouldn't retire. But if he gets stopped again, I love Dustin. I don't want to, and I know people who know him personally don't want to see him go down that route.
Okay, look, we're not professional fighters. We're friends with a lot of professional fighters. I feel like it would be really hard for him to walk away, even if he loses. And that's why
even if he gets knocked out?
Even if he gets knocked out. You know what?
I think he'll want one more.
It's not even the one more. I think, like I said, at this point, he's an attraction. He is a name that people gravitate to. He has his hot sauce line.
He does. I haven't tried it. I want to try it.
He looks like Channing Tatum, okay? He's going to be just fine, and I think taking fights against a Nate Diaz after this or a Colby Covington, because it creates a storyline. And I know this is probably my WWE brain talking here, but I think that's the route that's actually better for him in the long run. I don't see Dustin Poirier ever wearing another belt again. Well, unfortunately.
Well,
I love the guy.
And here's the thing: can he win this fight? I definitely think he can, just based on the veteran. It just depends. I think with Benoit, he needs to get after it early. I really do, because Dustin's got cardio. He's big. He is a big 150 fighter, and he's got that boxing. And you can never count him out. He's been counted out a lot. But even a win over this, it's going to be interesting to see. I still would like to see him go up a little bit, because the mix at 150, there's still guys above him. Gaethje beat him. Gaethje's going to fight Holloway, but still is right there with Islam. And there's a whole little tournament. So,
hey, UFC, you want to do a tournament in the lightweight division? I mean, watch.
It's the old school UFC way. But, I say it's a must win in the sense of this is the last run on that, outside of the fun.
All right, who you got?
I got Benoit. I got Benoit by submission.
I also have Benoit.
By rear naked choke. Second or third round.
I really think, this is a 5-round co-main, which is lovely. Those are music to my ears. But like I said, I really believe that this card is going to showcase talent and people that the casual fan has not heard of. And that's going to be great in the long run. So I am also going to roll with Benoit.
And I love you, Dustin. I do. I
actually have this. Okay, funny story. So I went to a UFC fight in Tampa in 2019 with my girlfriends, and Dustin Poirier was the main event. I forgot who he was fighting. I snuck in bottles of 99 in my boots that day.
There you go.
I was really wasted. So afterwards, they were staying at the Sheraton near the arena. And my girlfriends and I knew some of the Fortis fighters. Yeah. So they said, hey, come meet us at the hotel. We'll go out or whatever. So we went to the hotel. We met up with our guy friends. And Dustin Poirier was at the bar with his wife.
Yeah.
And one of my girlfriends goes up to Dustin Poirier and was like, hey, me and my friends are really big fans of you. Can we get a picture? And his wife was like, oh, my God, yeah, I'll take it. Girls, get the photo. Get the photo. Yeah. She was so sweet. So sweet. They take the photo. Take one photo. My eyes are closed.
So 99 problems and a boot was one.
Drake. But I could not post the photo. I'm so upset about it because.
Jolie. Yeah, and this pain.
And he was so nice about it too. Like he's just a nice human.
I rarely pick against. I rarely do, because I'm a fan of him and I think his style. I just think this style of person, like, I don't know. Like, I've been watching Ilya, I've been watching these guys, and it's that first wave momentum. And the guy's 28. I mean,
it's his time.
It's his time.
All right. I feel like we've been talking about UFC forever. We've finally arrived.
It's a lot of UFC, though.
We got Sugar Sean O'Malley versus Marlon Vera for the bantamweight champion. Real quick before we get into this, that same night I met Dustin Poirier, I also met Chito Vera.
There you go.
Because he was also on that Tampa card. And he was there with all of his coaches at the bar, and he was so friendly and so outgoing, and not in the icky, creepy way, because I'm there with a bunch of girls. He was like, I'm Chito Vera. I fought tonight. I won. I'm so proud of myself. I worked so hard. This is my coach. Like, he was giving, like, everybody all this credit for his success.
Yeah.
And he was like, let's have a drink. Like, he was just, like, so authentically happy. And then I started following him on Instagram. He's got like 5 kids.
Yeah.
Like, he's like fully dad of the year.
And he's been with his wife since they were kids. Like, they started dating officially in high school.
Yeah.
But like they've known each other since like 4th grade.
And one of his kids also has special needs.
Yeah.
And I just think it's just so beautiful. Like, he's such a like great human authentically.
And he's funny, and I became a fan of Chito, not just his fighting style. He actually walked out a couple times to Kashmir, Led Zeppelin, for your Led Zeppelin fans, one of my favorite bands of all time.
Very nice.
So I thought that was cool. Actually, rarely do people walk out to that. But no, I mean, his style, I mean, this is a guy that's not going to keep it to the ground either. But he does have the grappling ability, but his strike, and he comes to fight.
He's absolutely electric.
Yeah.
That's how I would describe Chito Vera.
Yeah, and I mean, he's been in the mix for so long, and he's had some downs, and he finds, resurgence. He's had, the knockout over Dominic Cruz, but then Corey Sandhagen, who kept him more to the ground in that wrestling, and that's why this fight's so intriguing, because I don't think either one are going to be shooting.
Okay, real quick recap, because this is technically the second matchup between these two. So what happened the first time?
Yeah, so they fought during COVID in 2020, and O'Malley, you could see his ankle just gave out. And I've seen this before. I saw this with Michael Chandler a couple of years before that in Bellator. And it's just a weird, like, that foot just shuts off. Yeah. And you see O'Malley stumble back. And of course, I mean, Vera did what he needed to do. Took advantage and got the stoppage. That's what, obviously O'Malley's going to talk like it wasn't lost. Still a loss. You couldn't. It sucks that it happened like that, because the fight didn't last very long. It was in the first round. I wanted to see a lot more. But it is what it is. Vera did what he needed to do, and he got the stoppage, and yeah.
How do we feel about Sean O'Malley wearing pink shorts?
Pink shorts.
Because they dropped that today. They said they made custom shorts, kind of like they did with Bryce Mitchell with the camo.
That's his hair, though. I mean, he's flashy. We talked about Vin and Paige being flashy and all that. That's who O'Malley. It's the Sugar Show. I mean, he's definitely evolved since he got on the Contender Series, because it's completely night and day. He's also older now, and this is his brand. I mean, this is just who he is.
So it's funny you mentioned that, because I was gonna take that from like a PR marketing standpoint. The fact that they gave him the pink shorts, they're like building this persona. They're building this identity. They're building a character for people to fall in love with. And as much as I don't like Sean O'Malley as a fighter, I feel like he's very questionable in a lot of sense. I think this is a brilliant PR and marketing strategy. There are certain nuances that they're putting on him that remind me of when Conor McGregor first started getting hot in the UFC. They're really trying to figure out who is going to be the face of the league, the promotion. And I think giving Sean those pink shorts kind of propels him.
Well, outside of the parallel, I mean, I go back way before that, Chuck Liddell and the Mohawk. Like, everyone associated MMA with Chuck Liddell.
Yeah.
And then you also had Tito Ortiz. I mean, he had the flame trunks, the blonde hair, attitude. Then Rampage.
Honestly, I saw the pink shorts, and I kind of want them, and I hate myself
so there you
for
go.
wanting them.
You got Sugar Sean, you got a new fan right here.
I'm a fan of the shorts.
Well, here's the thing. He does have the person, but you can't deny the skill either. The striking, the accuracy is there. It is there. It is there.
Okay, does that mean you're rolling with Sugar Sean?
I actually do think Sugar Sean wins this fight by second or third round.
Really?
I like Chito, but I haven't seen anything in his game that I'm like, is that accurate? And and I think the difference is Sean has evolved completely since that last fight. I mean, he's only getting better. We talk about Macy, we talk about that. He's one of those young guys that got pushed pretty soon. Comes out of a great camp in MMA lab, and even with the wrestling prowess, that if you know that gym. But you can't sleep on Cheeto for sure. But there's things that Corey exposed in Cheeto in that fight that I think, I mean, just outside of the wrestling, that I think that Sean just has speed. But I want it to be a 5-round banger.
You know, this is really gonna hurt my feelings. And as much as I love Cheeto Vera as a person,
Yeah.
as much as I love him as a fighter, it's Sugar Sean time. Hang on,
Yeah,
I'm
sorry.
not done. I'm not done,
I
Rocky.
got excited.
You and your Rocky shirt.
There we go.
I'm not done.
Dun, dun, dun.
I'm not done. Sean O'Malley is definitely the more well-rounded fighter. And in my experience, it's really hard to beat the same person twice, even though there were some extenuating circumstances
Yes.
round one. But I think Sugar Sean gets his revenge, and I think he retains. And I really think he is going to be not just the face of the bantamweight division, but the face of the UFC for quite some time. And that's what we all need. However, if this shit goes to decision and Sean O'Malley gets the win via decision, I'm not convinced.
Well,
I need a round 3 if that's the case.
I think,
Depending on how the fight goes, obviously.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I not trying to jump ahead. I mean, there's a lot of interesting matchups. I mean, even Merab, and like Merab is one. If he gets a hold of you and you go flying like that, and what I saw in that Yan fight, that's a guy that's not going to let up, and he is fast. You saw what nobody does that to Henry Cejudo. Nobody, and that's Olympic gold medalist.
Triple C.
So anything's possible with Strike, but if he takes him on an airline flight, anything can happen. At the same time,
Drink.
Yes. Here we go.
I didn't like that one.
At the same, well, he sends him flying.
Is it a Spirit Airlines or like an American Airlines?
Well, it depends on how the fight turns out.
I feel like that.
Yeah, it's Boeing. Anyways, but Sean, though, I mean, just like if you keep it standing, this is a guy you don't. The only guy that I think can come close to him at 135 is Corey Sandhagen. But we got to see what happens there.
We got to see what happens.
But we're both agreeing Sean
Yeah,
O'Malley.
we're going to roll with Sean O'Malley, and I hate myself for it.
But are you going decision or stoppage?
Stoppage. I
Yeah,
think
I'm
it's going to be very convincing. Like I said, if it goes to decision, it should be Marlon Vera.
I don't think it'll be right away. I mean, Marlon's very tough. But, I mean, I just think that, his striking speed.
No, Sean's going to light Miami and the rest of the world on fire, and I'm excited to see it. All right. Enough with the fighting.
I know.
We spent a really long time on the fighting, so let's hit these like quick headlines real quick. Let's local things real quick. Let's start with the Dallas Stars. Big trade happened literally right after we got off our recording last week.
I know.
So the Stars traded for Chris Tanev and literally didn't give up anything.
It's a very smart trade.
Very great trade. Very fiscally responsible trade.
Yeah.
Didn't sell the house, but looked for a guy that they can insert in the lineup who could make a difference on the defensive end, which is what we were talking about. A guy that's, smart defensively, who can hit some people. I believe his plus minus is plus 16.
Yeah.
So that's going to help us. Given how these last couple games have gone, we've seen kind of a slump. We've had to go to a shootout against San Jose, and San Jose is not the greatest team out there. We do play San Jose again tonight, where Chris Tanev is allegedly supposed to make his debut if his flight gets there on time.
Well, this guy, let's talk about how first trying to get him visa.
I actually looked this up. When a Canadian team trades with an American team, there is a larger window for processing because of immigration. Really?
But then after that, now weather issues cause it. We just want this guy to come here and play. We need the defensive help.
In due time.
Yes.
Right?
Maybe by the playoffs. We'll see him.
It's going to be more like, the Kings game.
Yeah.
But, the front office really made a great move here.
Yeah, they did.
Knowing that we're having a hard time hanging on to leads, we're kind of also in a scoring deficit, and I think it's because our offensive players are playing too much defense.
Yeah.
I feel like Rupe Hintz, Josh Robertson, they're all having a really hard time doing both. So I saw this stat the other day, and the Stars were top 5 per month in goals scored until February.
Wow.
They were 13th in February. So we need to take that pressure off our front three, essentially. And I'm hoping bringing in this guy will relieve some pain. However, trade deadline's not till Thursday. Do you see the Stars possibly making one more move? And if they were to, what kind of player do you think they're going to bring in?
If they lose tonight, yes, because they're right there. They really are.
We
right
actually
there.
are behind Winnipeg in the standings in
Yeah.
our division.
Yeah.
Which really hurts my feelings.
Yeah,
by the
because
way.
we're right there.
Okay.
We're holding it.
Before we move on, so a little anecdote about Winnipeg, the Jets. They are so good, can't fill the arena.
Yeah.
People in Winnipeg don't give an F about their hockey team to the point where they're considering moving.
That's crazy.
How are we behind a team with no fans?
And that is really crazy because, I mean, last year they were in the playoff. Like, I feel like that for so long, like, just from what I've been following in season, there was that. And your team is right in the hunt. I mean,
they play very exciting hockey. They're a fast team. They're a fun team. Can't get anybody in the arena.
Wow.
That's fucking sad.
That is very sad. Well, it's kind of like how we watched the baseball last year with Tampa. You know,
yeah, same thing with Tampa. Exactly.
You know.
You're not wrong.
But yeah, no, that's crazy. I mean, we got to win tonight. We got to win tonight. I mean, I think if we win tonight, find that extra piece if you can. Do win at all costs right now.
I wanna get a veteran in here, someone who can kind of like match the Joe Pavelski role.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Pavelski's the same guy he was last year, whether it's age or exhaustion.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but I need someone who can come in here and be like, y'all are way more talented than you're putting out on the ice, and y'all got to pick it up.
I'll say this about Pavelski. I think he's still very solid. I mean, when you're looking at somebody
For the
who
record,
can deliver.
I am literally wearing a Joe Pavelski
There you go.
bracelet. I am a Joe Pavelski fan.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think he's still solid, but he can't do it alone.
Exactly.
And I think we're asking a lot, and that you can wear him down real quick. So yeah, no, I agree. Get another veteran. I think no matter what the result tonight, if you can make one more splash, why not do it? Because this team is so close to being a very, very true contender.
I mean, again, we were games away from being in the Stanley Cup Finals last year.
Yeah.
You know, you can say Vegas is literally this much better than us because
Yeah.
they beat us in overtime. Like it's not like we rolled over in that series,
And
right?
I kind of felt like the Panthers are a good stylistic matchup for us, to be honest, the way they played.
Well, we're going to see the Panthers in 2 weeks, I believe.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would like to see them make one more move because I think this team is lacking that veteran leadership. And I know we have Jamie Benn, and I know we have Tyler Seguin and Joe Pavelski, but I need someone who is going to be kind of an asshole, who is going to like kind of set a precedence for this team, saying no one's going to push us around because we're not the most aggressive team.
Yeah.
We skate kind of fast.
Yeah.
We score a lot of goals. But I'm never going to get in your face and hit somebody. And kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum, and this is like a total like wildest dreams, Taylor Swift scenario. You see that kid in New York?
Oh, yeah.
Rempe.
And him and against Reeves, Brian Reeves.
All he does is start fights, and he is on the trading block. They don't want to keep him.
Tall is that guy?
He's 6'3", 6'4"?
Yeah, he looked, I mean, on skates, he looks 6'7".
I would love to have somebody like that.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of Antoine Roussel.
Yeah.
And Antoine Roussel was small and mighty, but like, I need someone who is going to bring that aggression. Because you remember in the Vegas series last year when Jamie Benn got so pissed he wrapped his stick around some guy's
and he was
neck,
out. Yeah,
and then he had to miss miss the game. But that's the kind of emotion I need to see from this team. Our team is very even-keeled. And as an even-keeled person myself, that's great in the corporate world, but you're playing effing hockey.
Well, you need a balance. I mean, Jason Robertson is very calm, collected. Then you have Hintz over here. You do need, though, that more aggressor, that in your face. Because if you want to get in the postseason, if you want to revisit Colorado, those are the teams that step it up, and you have to be intense. And that is one thing, like, can we light that fire offensively? Can we also light it defensively as well?
And you want to be playing your best hockey in March.
Yes.
Playoffs are right around the corner. I don't want to go pull the Texas Rangers card and slump through the end of the season, be a wild card team. I don't love the idea, and I know our Rangers pull it off, but
they had the coach though too. They had the manager, and I like DeBoer, and I like DeBoer, but like I don't know. I think he needs to be in the winning seat. I don't know if he can be in the wild card seat.
I'm with you there.
Yeah.
I totally agree. It's division win or bust. I'm not a wild card kind of girly in hockey.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see how this goes. We're in California for the next couple games, and then the boys are back home. I actually am going to the Florida game, I believe. You may either go to the Florida game or the Devils game. We'll see.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. All right. Speaking of slumps, Mavericks made those trades, got us all hot and bothered and excited.
Got us all excited.
Yet, here we are stuck in the 8th seed. If the playoffs started today, we'd be playing Golden State, and we don't want those problems, even though Golden State's kind of a hot mess in themselves.
But they're the experienced hot mess that figures it out.
I know,
least
right?
One series.
Once the playoffs start, they're just going to turn it on.
They're kind of like the Patriot, like
Yeah.
the Chiefs even. Like they just know how to get in there, and you can't
Right,
get Steph Curry.
they just need to be in the conversation.
Well,
they
they
don't
have
have
Steph
to
Curry.
be leading the conversation.
There you go.
So, Mavs are 6-4 in their last 10. Literally playing no defense.
Yeah.
I watched the game against Boston, and I get it. Boston's on a crazy tear, beating said Golden State by 30, 40
Yeah.
points? That was ridiculous.
Spanking.
So, my question to you, I mean, we are literally 25th in defense.
Yes.
We are trash. What do we need to do to mask that? I know we're not going to be a top 10 defense overnight, and we're averaging maybe 110, 115 points a game, so our offense is clicking, but we're not winning games.
Yeah.
What needs to change?
Well, I don't want to take away from necessarily other shows I've watched, but I feel like they've hit it on hit the nail on the head. Just be freaking aggressive. Just leave it the freak out there. I feel like they just kind of fade out. Like there is no heart there when they need to bring it down to the other court. There's no intensity. Like offensively, I'm like, okay, you can do it, but you got to answer back.
Okay, so piggybacking on that, couple things. I think this team relies too much on Luka.
Well,
right?
yeah, no,
Obviously.
that's been the
point blank
ongoing.
The fact that Luka has to score 40 plus points in a game to win by 5 really just rubs me entirely the wrong way. So in my head, if I'm Jason Kidd, I need to get another source of offense, and that's why they brought in PJ Washington.
Yeah.
PJ Washington needs to average more than 10 points a game. PJ Washington is a legitimate threat to be your third best weapon. And not just that, I want more out of our bench. I looked this up. I actually looked this up, and it's not because I'm a Tim Hardaway Jr. superfan, okay? They are literally 40-10 if Tim Hardaway Jr. scores more than 10 points.
Yeah.
If he comes off the bench and really runs the, quote, bench squad, that takes the pressure off Luka. It takes the pressure off Kyrie. It takes the pressure off PJ Washington. They need to have other people really just step up.
But doesn't that go back to Kidd and how you? There you go.
Yes.
So, because Hardaway's had one of his best seasons so far.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's been the support before PJ and Gafford came here, but we've seen this story these past 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And it's coaching. And when you have a coach, I'm sorry that, by the way, who is very intense during his time as a player, just sits back and is just like, I'm watching. That's a problem.
It is definitely a problem. And if the Mavs end up being a play-in team and lose, or if they get out of the play-in group and go into the first round and they lose, I've been with you. Jason Kidd, gotta go. But we can't get there yet.
No.
We gotta focus on what's in front of us. And I need to see more out of PJ Washington. And I need to see more out of the Mavs bench. Looking at you, goggle man.
Your favorite, Devin Powell.
Devin? Dwight.
Oh,
Drake.
There we go. That's his alter ego.
You think Devin wears goggles? I feel like Devin would
what
be
would Devin? Let's make up Devin Powell.
Devin would be really sexy and cool.
Do you think he has?
And he wouldn't flail his arms
he
everywhere.
wouldn't.
He'd be like, "Oh, there's a rebound. Got it." He wouldn't be like.
Wouldn't it be funny if Dwight comes out? That is his alter. That's his he goes out and I'm Devin Powell.
Let's go to Bottle Blonde and find out.
Is he always at Bottle Blonde?
I don't know, but let's find out.
There are a lot of local athletes that are there.
All right, so now let's hit my favorite part of the show. Love is Blind dropped 2 episodes last week. They will be dropping the finale tomorrow.
What are we gonna do?
What do you mean, what are we gonna do?
Well, it's wrapping up.
We're gonna find another reality TV show
I know.
to be obsessed with.
We need to.
Well, you know, Trevor is gonna be on the next season of Perfect Match.
Oh, when is that? Summertime?
Summertime.
Oh, that's right. That's right. All right, Love is Blind.
Love is Blind, episodes 10 and 11. Man, these people are just so problematic.
Woo!
But we can't stop.
Didn't we overshoot? We're like, this is so great, and then we're like, oh, the train has left the tracks.
They all need therapy.
Yeah. No, I mean, Amy and Johnny's probably the only one that I'm like, okay, they're close to be good enough. We'll see.
Yeah, but they're not like Lauren and Cameron.
Nah, but I mean,
No
they're
one
still,
can be
they're
Lauren and
still
Cameron.
fun. I mean, I loved her parents and like everything. Let's just say they are the most watchable out of like as far as likable.
Okay,
couple.
likable. Yes.
Yeah, likable.
All right. Well, let's start here.
Yeah.
AD and Clay never see each other. Kind of weird, right?
Yeah, their schedule. I mean, like for post pod.
Even like the barbecue, they showed up separately. And she was like, Clay will be here. Clay will be here. Like she didn't care.
Yeah.
She was just like, this is my life now. I don't know. I know she's gonna walk down the aisle. They showed her veil that said "Till death do us part" or whatever. I don't know. I feel like they're like a showmance at this point because like they literally can't be on camera together. Like what is this?
And he's there like for 2 seconds, and just even the reactions between both sides of the family. To me, I mean, I love what her mom said and that, but you can kind of also tell like she's kind of on the like, I don't know about
but
this guy.
Her mom was like, "This is sus as fuck."
Yeah, this is suspect. So I told you I don't like it. And I didn't like his comments about, oh, I'm going to potentially cheat. Well, you're making that potential decision, buddy. You shouldn't be in this relationship. And I get you guys are both busy, but the fact that
you're on reality TV, you have to portray a certain image and blah 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 blah.
But it doesn't seem like you want to make it. Either side wants to really make it work, and if she has reservations, I'm not surprised, and I don't know that he's really that 100% serious.
Nope, and, if you're on Love is Blind TikTok, spoiler alert, I mean, they're not allowed to be seen in public until after the finale airs, if they are still together, but a lot of people are going on social media and seeing them out in public and totally ratting them out.
There you go, social media.
And that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Whether it's AD or Clay, you'll never know unless you're on Love is Blind TikTok. But, like...
Yeah, I finally joined Love is Blind TikTok, and now I'm like... just like... Dang, that rabbit hole goes deep.
So deep. You can spend hours on Love is Blind TikTok.
It's like Alice in Wonderland. It just goes down.
All right, I'll let you pick. Do you want to talk about Laura and Jeremy or Chelsea and Jimmy first?
Let's go Chelsea, Jimmy first, because the Laura, Jimmy, like, we already were like, that's already volcano gone. We kind of already saw that. Chelsea, Jimmy, though, are everybody that has a TikTok is making a parody of them. It's so it's nauseating.
Cringe.
It's so I need Pepto-Bismol watching them. Because I'm like, are you on? Are you off? Are you on? Are you off? Like, it's just so bad. And I don't know who I really do dislike in this, because like it's just kind of like
I'm gonna rip a line from a TikTok I saw. She goes, Chelsea, why are you making us feel bad for Jimmy?
Yeah, I know.
Because we shouldn't be feeling bad for Jimmy.
At first you were like, but I do love Jimmy's parents though. They were fun.
I agree. Chelsea made up a fight.
I know, because he had one beer, and she knows...
He was out for 90 minutes.
And then she comes back, and wasn't she drunk or tipsy?
Yeah, she was drunk.
You're like, I don't want you to go out and have one beer with the friends.
You said that you don't go out. And then what bothered me about that exchange was Chelsea went for the jugular. She took a cheap shot.
Yeah,
she said, you told me off camera that you fucked her. Okay, he told you off camera for a reason. He didn't want to make you look stupid.
Yeah.
He didn't want to make his friend look stupid. And you put everything on blast. What is wrong with you?
And then also, you're he's sober as daylight.
Yeah.
And you are drunk. Like, it's worse being, I'm just going to say, drunk at home. And he went out and had one beer.
How hard was that for you to watch?
Oh, man, I was beating my head because, for a while we've given Jimmy some crap. But then I'm like, if she had told me that, like, I don't want you to go out of the I'm like, I'm out of here. First of all, I always will say this. My friends mean a lot to me, like close to my family. They do. You haven't been here this long. You don't even know me this long. Now, great, I want this to go out, but the way you're acting, never tell to control your friends. And in my situation, I wouldn't do that. Now, if you have some shady friends, that's a different thing, and we can have that conversation. Doesn't seem like he does. That was a drunken moment. And I mean, I'm just like, it was gaslight. Like, it was a double standard.
Yeah, it was really messed up. And I can't tell I can tell. I know what this was. She's insecure.
Yeah.
She's got an anxious attachment style.
Yeah.
And if things don't go exactly the way she wants and exactly the way she sees things, she's going to feel disrespected because she doesn't have the power in her to validate herself. And then she threw that line out there, I know you were with Jessica.
How do you know who I was with?
The girl from the Pod Squad told me.
And here's the thing. I mean, she already lied about being, Megan Fox. And here's the thing. That's neither here or there. But it's just I think you're just making up these battles that you don't need to. I mean, this guy's still with you.
Yeah.
I mean, and he saw Jessica, and he's still with you.
If I were Jimmy and she said some of that stuff to me, well, I don't want to do this anymore. I quit.
I'd be out.
The fact that he was trying to parse out what she said and tried to be understanding, gold medal. Because you better than me, Jimmy.
Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah, okay, you don't want to be with me? That's cool. I'm just going to go sleep at my apartment. I'm
kind of team Jimmy right now. I'm kind of dude, I don't think he's perfect by any means, but he's trying to make it work, and there's these little fights that don't need to happen. He still chose you.
She betrayed your trust on camera.
Yeah.
That's the part
huge.
I can't get over.
Yeah. You also betrayed that friend. That's just not good.
Okay, but this brings up a really interesting topic. And you and I being best friends, guy-girl best friends.
Yeah.
1000% platonic.
Yeah.
But you kind of know my history.
Yeah.
Right? They're guy friends that I have had, that I am still friends with, that I've had relations with.
Yeah.
Right? How do you draw the line when that person's now in a serious committed relationship and you say, all right, that's okay, or maybe you should cut that off? What's your thought there?
Well, and maybe I just think different. Like I said, I'm always there for my friends. Until it's not good, till it's toxic, then yeah. But I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not going to tell you how to feel, right?
Right, but it's the jealousy thing from the partner, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
what I'm saying is me, I've done some stuff in my past, and I've been in serious relationships. You've met a slew of boyfriends over the course of our friendship.
Social media looked all
knowing that they've hung
Deep
out,
dive.
knowing that they've hung out with guys that I've interacted with in inappropriate ways. For Chelsea to feel that level of insecurity, right? Was that warranted, not warranted? What's your opinion there?
I mean, here's how I feel. He was honest with her.
Kudos.
Completely honest.
Because that's not an easy conversation.
That's not an easy conversation, but he was it's the past of the past. We do things. But obviously, he still chose her. Right. And if he was into that person, he ain't on Love is Blind.
Right.
Well, I don't know, because this season, apparently people had significant numbers. But no, he wasn't. It happens. And sometimes you do these things to figure out, is there something, or is it just that? And then you can go on to be friends, which I think is even greater. I'm saying greater, just okay, you can build that from that.
Someone who has been in Jimmy's shoes.
Yeah.
Jimmy Choos. That would be fun to be in.
There you go.
But as someone who has felt the things Jimmy has felt, who's experienced the things Jimmy has felt, there's a reason why those guys are just my friends.
Yeah.
And even then, I have very strict boundaries with said friends. They're not around all the time. They're here from time to time. I'm never going to put my significant other in a situation where he feels uncomfortable. The fact that, Jimmy, introduced these two girls as his two best friends, I probably wouldn't have done that, but I
Yeah.
would have been open with my significant other being like, hey, I had relations with this friend and this friend, but they're not going to be around if you're not comfortable with
Yeah.
it. Like, that's the way I would have handled it if I were Jimmy.
Yeah, I mean, you set boundaries, but it's not like, I don't know, but from what I could tell, he went out seeking that. He went out to celebrate was it a birthday or
Yeah, I mean, this is separate.
Yeah,
very
no, I
separate
get
from the
that.
conversation,
But,
yeah.
but I'm just saying, like, and it just was a kill switch, like a flip switch for her.
Yeah, it
and,
was a trigger.
And then brings up all that off camera that has nothing to do with anybody that's in this cast.
Yeah,
You
I
know.
definitely think Chelsea was in the wrong. I don't think she should have jumped on Jimmy the way she did. But I do understand why she did what she did, and I feel like it comes from a place of like she doesn't have a way of internally like validating herself.
It's the insecurity. Yeah, and then she was drinking too. On top of that, you know.
And drinking magnifies everything.
It does. It does a lot. So yeah. I mean, it's just. But the whole ongoing, they're so back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
You got whiplash from this emotional roller coaster.
It's a lot.
Ironic
I took
because
tons.
they went to an amusement park for their final date.
I could not do that. I'd be like, unless it was a log wide and we're gonna make a splash.
Drink. All right. Last couple. Jeremy and Laura. So in the last episode, they left us on a cliffhanger. Laura essentially accused Jeremy of cheating with Sarah Ann. And then this barbecue happens, and we find out that Laura and Jeremy have not spoken since that moment. We find out that Jeremy tried to send her flowers.
Yeah.
But also packed up all of her shit.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I'm gonna be honest. If someone just packed up my shit, I'm like, "What did you take, by the way? Like
is it all there? Why are
is
you
it on
touching my
box?
stuff?
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not OCD, but I'm also like, what did you like? Because routine. But yeah, that was kind of. He was already over. Not Team Jeremy, even though. Team Jerry, my mom, like she said, like,
She
right,
put him
yeah,
in
in a place. It's
like,
like if
I
I was
love
her,
Mom.
I was like, I don't know. Like the parents on here have been 100%, but yeah, I mean the guy definitely dickish, and Lauren has every right to feel.
Laura
has every right to feel how she is, and man, she did not. I mean, she went all after him.
Kudos to her.
Yeah.
I have been in that situation. I have had friends in that situation that just couldn't lay down the law and be like, no.
She laid down the whole law book.
She put that wall up real fast.
Yeah.
And she said, you disrespected me. You had my heart and essentially broke it. You promised with this engagement that you were going to take care of me emotionally, and you didn't. So for those reasons, I'm out. That's essentially what she told him in that conversation by the lake. And his reaction was so like, I don't give a fuck.
Because he already knew who he wanted and who he probably should have picked in the pod.
He left the door open.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the confrontation between AD and Sarah Ann? Sarah Ann trying to explain her side of the story, trying to say, hey, I did nothing wrong. I didn't know they were engaged, but I knew they were engaged. And AD saying, nah, ma'am.
You knew they were engaged. You just like kind of knew. Well, because we're all in this. Because here's the thing. We only see so much. Regardless, they're all in the pod together, right? They're all on this side, so they know these relationships are going on. They know who feels about what. So regardless, you are a significant other. You may not have been the one that got picked in the end.
No,
but,
the fact that AD said he didn't pick you.
Yeah.
Like you had no business doing what you did.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, no, she is right. I mean, Sarah Ann's not in the right at all, because regardless, pick or not, you know that this is going to cause a lot. And even when they were talking, her and Jeremy, I was like, ooh, at first I thought she was giving the business, but it was just quick, like, oh, okay, let's go ride jet skis. It's like, I want you back.
That jet ski scene was so cringe.
It was like in sync when they're on the jet skis, like, let's go, but how quickly she turned, it's like, all right.
No,
so
she had an agenda.
Yeah.
And now she's making TikToks from in his place.
Yeah.
My only thing, Sarah Ann, what stops him from doing what he did to Laura and his ex?
Because wasn't he engaged, apparently? So just saying.
Peace, love, and blessings, Sarah Ann. Good luck with that. Real quick, before we close out here, Let's make some shot takes.
All right, let's do it.
Who says yes at the altar? All right, I'm just gonna say the couples, and we're just gonna go yes,
Yep,
no.
let's do it.
AD and Clay.
No.
I also think no. AD deserves better. I am forgetting names.
Johnny, Amy.
Johnny, Amy, yes.
Yes.
Yes, I think they will say yes. Chelsea and Jimmy.
No. No, and I'll say no for them. They're oil and bitter. Like, they don't, and it's not that I wish Chelsea, I just don't.
Chelsea's going to get someone who's better for her.
Yeah,
Jimmy's
yeah.
going to get someone better for him.
Yeah.
And then now we know Laura and Jeremy are broken up. I don't think they're going to film an altar
No.
scene between Jeremy and Sarah Ann,
No.
but could you see Jeremy and Sarah Ann getting married?
No. I think they just date.
Yeah, I'm going to say Jeremy is in his F-boy era, and
Yeah.
he's going to milk this as long as
They're gonna have
Love
fun.
is Blind allows him to.
Yeah.
And then he's going to go back to whatever life he had,
Yeah.
being a D-list celebrity.
See him on Traders.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
I want a cameo from Jeremy.
Or on Perfect Match.
I want him to say, "This is Jeremy wishing
Yeah.
you a happy birthday, Rayya." That'd be cool. And in terms of the pod squad, we saw a couple people. The one person we brought up at the beginning of the segment, Trevor, who is confirmed to be
Yeah.
on Perfect Match 2. Is he going to be a good character or a bad character, you think?
I think he'll start off at least good. I think he's kind of in the middle. He's so hot and cold. Well, I think he's only cold because of what we know right now.
That's what I was going to say, yeah.
But at the same time, if people forget that overnight and have squirrel brain, then he can be good. It just depends. It depends when it's in game.
I really think he's going to be hella charming on the
Yeah.
show. And I really hope one of those girls ends up exposing him.
Yeah.
Because guys like that will make a mistake eventually.
I don't think he'll come across right away.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Eventually
Yeah.
he'll make a
Yeah.
mistake, and it'll
Yeah.
be interesting to see how that rounds out. So next week, we are at the Sandy Pickle in the
Yes.
Village. One of us is going to, well, we're both going to try pickleball, and
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes, because neither of us have played before.
It'll be a fun deal.
Drink. And we'll recap everything that happened at UFC 299, talk about this, the finale of Love is Blind, get you set for the reunion, which honestly
Yeah.
can't wait for, and then see how our Stars and Mavs are performing heading into their playoff pushes. Anything I'm forgetting, Charlie Van?
No, I think that covers it. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you next. Oh, by the way, thank you, Bryan Street Tavern, as always.
Taking really good care of
Yes.
us. Love you
Cheers.
guys so much. Happy to be here, and we can't wait to come back.
Cheers. Thank you, guys.